Hey guys, Adele here with your Tuesday video. Today we're joined by special guests Cat and other cat. They just kind of come at me when I'm making videos. I had this one last time and he was there the entire time. Anyway, so this week's topic is names, pronouns, and gendered language. I'd like to talk specifically about gendered language. Now, English is actually pretty good about handling gender-neutral terms. It's definitely not the best, and we still have a lot of progress to make. I'm going to be talking about some of the problems that we encounter in English, especially concerning what you call family members and significant others. However, English is better than dealing with something like romantic languages, where pretty much every single thing, whether it be a person or an inanimate object, and I don't really know about actions, I don't study a romantic language, but other than that, pretty much everything is gendered. You know, where it's like, the term for this car is masculine, or this tree is feminine, which I don't fully understand, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so English does have a repertoire of gender-neutral terms, especially like we see the pronouns them or it, which are gender neutral, and that's pretty cool. But like I said, there's more issue when you try to deal with what to call your partner and what to call your family members. Now, as far as partners / significant others go, already I've been using some gender neutral terms for partners and significant others, but these aren't perfect, and I actually take a big issue with these. You'll notice that in non-gender neutral terms like girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband, you actually have several different levels of commitment denoted there. And while that level of commitment isn't always consistent in real life, like you can have a girlfriend who you are just as committed with as someone might be with their wife, and it might be a healthier relationship. But in the language itself, that's what it means, is it's just a lower level of commitment. But in gender neutral terms, you really don't see that. Significant other, partner, you can also use them, friend. For the most part, they don't actually have those levels. Instead, they have levels of, like, how personal they are. Significant other feels really distant, and I don't think I'd actually want to call any partner of mine my significant other. Like, it just feels empty, you know? And also, like, generally I go with partner, but it still makes me uncomfortable in that way. On the other end of the spectrum, we have lover. And that seems like really, really personal. Like, a lover is someone you run away with and elope with. And some relationships, that's an appropriate term, but the ones that I've experienced, that's not what I'd call it. So, while there may be some good gender-neutral terms for partners, I think that it gets even stickier when you deal with family situations. You know, I don't really plan on having children, especially not anytime soon. But sometimes I think about, you know, if I did have a child, what would they call me? I'm not their mother, and I'm not their father, and can you imagine, like, a baby trying to say parent? Like, once again, we have another term that feels very distant, and in other practical issues, a child can't say until they're like I don't know anything about child development, but let's just go with like 6, you know, if they've been practicing for the first 6 years of their life. And so that really, really bothers me. It's less of an issue when it comes to your own children. You can say, this is my child, and have it be almost as personal as this is my son or daughter. But other familial roles really just don't have any gender-neutral counterpart, like aunt, uncle, niece, nephew. You know, I think that when we really get down to the language of love, whether it be romantic or familial, it's oftentimes there's just no good gender-neutral alternative. And I find that so frustrating. I wish I could give you guys, like, the best options and be like, it may seem as if there's no term that's gender neutral for a parent and also doesn't sound incredibly distant, and this is what it is. But I don't have that. I don't think anyone does. And this is the hardest part of what people who are non-binary are dealing with today, is having to make up a language of gender neutrality. And it's difficult because oftentimes it makes it harder for people to accept us. Anyway, so that's just my feelings on this topic. Have a good day. Don't get sad about it. I get sad about it, but you don't have to. Anyway, see you next week.